This past weekend, on April 16th, Kazuya Mishima was banned from tournaments by Ultimate Shockwave, a local in Texas. The ban was alongside a Steve ban, but no one was talking about that. This tweet exploded on Twitter, with all of the Smash community pitching in on whether or not they believe Kazuya should be banned or not. Today, we'll be going over what happened, what I think, and why. Let's begin. So, what exactly happened here? Upon first glance, you may be inclined to think that this was the decision of one TO who just doesn't like Kazuya, but you'd be mistaken. According to them, the locals sent out polls and had their players vote on whether they wanted to ban Steve, Kazuya, both, or neither. According to them, the vote was, quote, not close, end quote. Now, personally, I kind of want to see the results from that poll myself, but purely out of curiosity. I think the most important thing here is to note that the community itself wanted this ban to happen. If this was one TO just deciding to make a decision regarding a local, I'd be far more skeptical about the legitimacy of a Kazuya ban. But the entire community voting on it puts it in an interesting light and poses an equally interesting question. Could more regions follow suit? Now personally, I don't think it's very likely. At least not on a large scale, like what we saw happen with the Steve ban rolling out across the country. However, as soon as one local scene bans Kazuya, the taboo is broken. It would not be unheard of anymore to ban Kazuya. I think multiple scenes scattered across the world will likely follow suit. I don't personally believe Kazuya will be banned on even a statewide scale at any point. However, speaking purely in hypotheticals, if it did, we'd have a repeat of the Steve conundrum, which I talked about at length in this video here. And by the way, the things I said in this video ended up being pretty much correct. Japan has no intention of banning Steve, and they certainly won't ban Kazuya. And the same can be said for the majority of Europe, although one British major, Regen 2023, has actually banned Steve so far, which is the first overseas instance of that happening. So we're starting to see the trend spread, even if it's little by little. But still, with different countries and different regions within those countries starting to differ in their rule sets, it won't be long before Smash Ultimate can't be called an esport anymore. Now, when this announcement was made, a lot of people had a lot of opinions on this. People were praising the local for having the guts to do what needed to be done, and lots of people equally slammed the local for this decision, saying that it is uncompetitive. There are also quite a lot of people with the slippery slope argument that everyone has seen 1,000 times, where people say that banning characters can easily spiral into TOs just banning whoever they please. Now, let me be clear here. I believe the slippery slope argument is flawed. Steve and Kazuya have always been the two targets for the community, and I don't believe for a second that it'll expand beyond that. Even if a local tried to do such a thing, I believe they would receive almost universal backlash to the point that they'd reverse it immediately. I think a lot of the slippery slope people are kind of fear-mongering, intentionally or not, in order to try and prevent Steve or Kazuya bans. Let me tell you, there are genuine reasons not to ban Steve or Kazuya. Hell, I've even come full circle on my Steve position since I'm now against Steve bans at majors, but this slippery slope argument is not it, Chief. But here's the thing. Now we're kind of getting into my trademark, here's why this shit doesn't matter, part of the video, if you will. We could argue day and night on whether or not this local should have banned Kazuya. Now, what do I think? Personally, I don't give a crap. And I don't think anyone outside of that region should give a crap either. Why? Well, let me explain myself. With the interconnectedness of the internet, it's easy to forget that people who we talk to every day could live hundreds of miles away. Personally, I live 461 miles away from where this is happening. Why does this matter? Well, because it's not my local. The reason I believe most of us shouldn't care is because for most of us, it's not our local either. Remember, locals are just a bunch of people coming together because they want to have fun and play Smash Brothers, usually in small-ish groups of 20 to 50. I believe that if a group of people in Texas decide that they want to play Smash Brothers in a way that makes it more fun for everyone in that group, then we as outsiders have no right to say that their way of playing the game is wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, regionals and majors? Those are competitive tournaments that people take seriously and play in for clout, money, and improvement. These tournaments we should absolutely take seriously and play in the most competitive, fair way we can, which is why I'm against Steve or Kazuya bans for regionals or majors. But for locals? A local could ban every single character except Donkey Kong, and if the vast majority of players in that local area agreed to it, who are we to stop them from having fun and playing the game how they want to? It's their local, their tournament, their scene. It's not Twitter's local, not Twitch chat tournament, and not YouTube comments scene. It's theirs. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as the vast majority agrees, they can play the game however the hell they want to. Because either way, what a local in Texas does has no impact on my life whatsoever, except for seeing a lot of pointless flame wars on Twitter that will never reach a good conclusion because of the nature in today's internet. In today's internet, where people are dead set in their opinions and never willing to change them based off of new information or developing ideas, arguing with someone over something like a Kazuya ban is quite literally akin to smashing your head against a brick wall. That's what's so incredibly ironic about this whole debate, and maybe even this video's existence in the first place. Who gives a fuck if a bunch of people in Texas hate Kazuya? Who gives a fuck if some dude on the internet has an opinion about it? Who gives a fuck about anything Smash Twitter has to say? Who gives a fuck if a state that's 500 miles away bans Steve on a statewide scale? Because you want moral superiority? That sounds like you have something seriously wrong with your head. Because you want to be right? Every single part of this is subjective. There is no objective right opinion. Because you want everyone on the internet to agree with your specific opinion on the matter? That is quite literally the biggest fool's errand that I could ever imagine. This idea is why I wanted to make this video. Because I vehemently believe that when it comes to locals, and locals specifically, no one should give a fuck what other locals are doing with their tournaments. And as long as the vast majority agrees to it, you can do whatever the hell you want to. At the end of the day, they made a choice because it will make them enjoy the game more. No matter your take on Kazuya, more people enjoying the game is a good thing. I'd like to think we can all at least agree on that. Because if we can't, then what the hell are we doing here calling ourselves a community? That's going to be it for today's video. I'm not gonna lie, this video may have gotten a little ranty, maybe a little preachy, and maybe a little high concept for something as trivial as a children's party game. If you like this video, you should check out my video on the Steve ban, which I gave quite a similar attitude. You should also consider checking out my Twitch, linked in the description. I play Smash Bros pretty much every single weekday, and I go live at 2 p.m. CST every day. With that said, I've been Mr. Mice, and thank you all so much for watching.